There's been some controversy about darkening the face of Hitler in the upcoming Hearts of Iron 4 game. Since I'm a long-time gamer and historian from Austria that is living in Germany right now, I thought I'd add my thoughts on this topic. Especially since some Germans have a tendency to defend their government policies and practices, which is perfectly normal, but is very often counterproductive for any meaningful debate, because they usually ignore that their laws also influence games outside their jurisdiction, due to Germany's major economic influence. Thus this video is also relevant for non-Germans, especially Europeans. First off, I completely understand the decisions of computer game studios to self-censor their games due to German laws, especially because I have a certain understanding of the business side. Yet for the German consumer out there that defend these laws, you're doing no one a favor, and you're certainly not advancing the discussion of German history nor democratic principles in society at all. If you think you do, please let me know why and how. After all, maybe I missed something, or at least I will understand your position better. Second, this is more like an artillery barrage. It is not a precision strike, nor is it a full assault. This video should incite debate and question many views that in my opinion are sometimes just moronic. I will cover different areas, yet won't go into much detail, similar to an artillery barrage. Third, I mentioned several computer games and a movie. Note that I mainly criticize the ratings and interpretations of these products by organizations, especially in context to each other, not the product themselves. Fourth, Germany is just one example that I'm very familiar with. I'm pretty aware that a lot of these problems are present in other societies too, so if you're German, don't take this personal. Now, one cheap trick in politics and debate is to draw the Nazi card. Also, many Germans often use this approach to directly or indirectly defend their sometimes downright stupid and unjust laws, while at the same time missing very crucial lessons from German history. Let me explain. First, Germany after the Second World War banned a lot of Nazi symbols and organizations. This makes sense. Yet beyond the point, common sense is leaving the discussion rather fast. Because one aspect nearly everyone seems to forget, it is only very few Nazis were ever held accountable in post-war Germany. Even worse, a lot of them served for a long time up to the highest echelons in Western German politics. So basically a lot of people were never held responsible for their crimes, but if you said certain words or displayed a swastika in a non-educational way, well, that was now a criminal offense. This to a certain degree meant that right-wingers had to hide in their closet, but also that even academics usually were completely unprepared to properly counter neo-Nazis and their bullshit once they left the closet. And here's a quote from an article about the author of a book that was especially written to counter neo-Nazi lies. The reason for the book was the experience of being unable to give appropriate answers to revisionists' writings. Note that the author of the book was a historian who focused on the period of National Socialism. Now imagine the ability of the average German or Austrian to deal with neo-Nazi arguments. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think not exposing people to arguments makes them even more vulnerable to them in the long run. Second, the justification for censorship and censorship-like policies indirectly implies that censorship wasn't a problem during or before the Nazi regime. Well, if you take a look at German history, the fight for free speech and against censorship was very important. Hence the argument that strong policies against computer games, especially non-historical ones, are due to lessons from German history, clearly shows that they didn't got the lesson, and probably should look at what happened prior to those 12 years everyone seems so focused to draw conclusions from. Because I think the main lesson is that there was and still is a strong tendency in Germany to control various kinds of media and discourage dissenting opinions. And considering that even historians have a problem countering neo-Nazis, clearly showed that these measures are not only downright anti-liberal but also ineffective, if not outright dangerous. One thing everyone should consider, censorship is nothing else but lawmakers stating that information and symbols are dangerous, and that you as a citizen are not able to handle them. And keep in mind that those same people will have no problem sending thousands or even millions of the same citizens into war. If you think I'm exaggerating, well, a little reminder about politicians. The one Social Democratic Chancellor Gerhard Schröder pretty fast got a new job at Gazprom. And Joschka Fischer, the Green Party foreign minister, had no problems with dropping bombs on non-neighboring countries. Both actions are not necessarily wrong, but keep in mind their party backgrounds, because they clearly didn't. Note that this problem is not limited to Germany. Now, freedom of speech is of course no guarantee for keeping politicians in check, but creating taboo areas with censorship or other means is definitely not a measure any democratic state or citizen should apply on a regular basis. The main problem seems to be that most people have the assumption that laws are right or correct, but they aren't necessarily, something that everyone, especially in Germany and Austria, should be aware of, because most of the Nazi policies were actually legal, something that became apparent after the war. This also led to a concept in theory of law from a German to counter this problem. I won't go any deeper into this, but just look up Radbruchsche Formel or Radbruch's formula. There will be a link in the description, as like for nearly all other references presented in this video. Let's take a look at some decisions surrounding computer games and other media in Germany. Now, some of the most insane decisions are the ban of Wings of Fury, rating Star Wars Dark Forces 18+, and rating Settlers 2 at 6+. Yeah, I know, those decisions are from the past, but they haven't been revoked at all, which also clearly shows a lack of discussion and public pressure. Furthermore, some publishers and developers even recently basically budget their games, like Wolfenstein: The New Order, just to avoid any problems, because they would risk millions of euros and in certain cases also the future of their employees. First, Wings of Fury. According to Wikipedia, the ruling was mostly influenced by the fact that the player shot Japanese people who were running out of their houses and screaming. Now, I don't know if it's true, but this act was probably the most violent one depicted in the game, because I played it. Although those houses were pillboxes that clearly fired the player in his aircraft, according to Wikipedia the ban happened in 1992. Next, Dark Forces, which was basically a Doom clone with no blood or any other strong graphical depiction of violence. It was released in 1995 and rated 18+. Now, to provide some context, the movie Stalingrad from 1993 was rated 12+. It contained several violent firefights with various mutilations and the execution of children by the main protagonist. Now, some will come along and say, yeah, but it is an anti-war movie. Well, I still don't think it is suitable for 12-year-olds, especially not if just 1 year before someone banned Wings of Fury in Germany as something that is harmful for children. Furthermore, the movie clearly failed as an anti-war movie. Critics in Germany clearly noted that the movie failed in that regard. Also, in an article of a book about Stalingrad published by the German Military History Museum in 2012, it is clearly noted that the film, like others before, was just a heroic presentation of German soldiers portrayed as victims. To quote from the book, movie depictions covering the battles of Stalingrad in the Federal Republic and reunified Germany never reached beyond a heroic presentation of German victims. The rating 12+ for the Stalingrad movie is a great example for the moral integrity of the German rating system and its complete lack of providing meaningful historical context. But I personally think this isn't the worst hypocrisy that our dear German rating agencies achieved. Actually, it was the rating Settlers 2 got. Now you're probably gonna ask, what is the problem with Settlers 2? Well, you basically could only win if you destroyed the enemy base. And as a consequence, all the enemy settlers started running around and shortly afterwards they all died. So in short, you could only win the game by killing off, intentionally or unintentionally, the whole enemy population, which probably some people would consider genocide. But since the game is full of cute graphics, and your minions don't scream Lebensraum, Lebensraum while they pillage and plunder through the game, it was absolutely fine for everyone. Which brings me finally back to Hearts of Iron 4 and Paradox games. My advice to Paradox is simple. Just dress Hitler in a big bunny costume, then you don't have to black out his face, because everyone in German rating agencies knows as long as you dress your protagonist cute enough, there's no reason to give you not a 6+ rating. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. And see you next time.